Thank you so much for this comment. I've been waiting for an excuse to talk about this. As a white person who is consuming Kugler's art, there are lanes for me and there are lanes that are not for me. But I want to say that I am just in awe, as somebody who studies mythology and is a diehard movie fanatic, I'm in awe of how he was able to articulate, how he was able to educate people. He gave you a graduate level course on multiple cultures' mythology. This movie introduced me to the book before the Irish were white. In Blues history, I didn't realize the depth and breadth of what I didn't know. Specifically, like the symbolism of Smoke's trunk. I also learned the significance of the counterclockwise camera work that Ryan and Autumn used intentionally during the iconic dance scene to symbolize and mirror the counterclockwise movements that are done in traditional Yoruban and Bakongo, I believe, West African dance rituals. Also the mythology of twins, and how oftentimes when a woman is giving birth to twins, the second baby will get stuck in the birth canal. The relationship between Chinese American immigrants and the Black community. I mean, we can go on and on and on, but let me arrive at my point. The choice to use vampires and vampire mythology to articulate the connection between these Black slaves and Black freemen and the Irish community is deft. It's genius. Vampires are the embodiment of indulgence, right? And ecstasy and excess and abandon. And most people have heard of the Greek god Dionysus, right? Like god of wine, god of ecstasy, god of excess. He not only represents ecstasy and excess, he can induce it, i.e. Remmick. He can shapeshift, he can communicate between the living and the dead. Remmick. Remmick knows how to talk shit to the living to get what he wants, right? And he also obviously knows how to talk to the dead because he's dead. But he's much more complex than that. He himself is twice born. He was born of his mother's ashes, and then he was incubated, if you will, in his father Zeus's thigh. Dionysus also has a counterpart I want to talk about and dive a little bit deeper, and then I promise, or at least I hope, this will come full circle and make some sense. Dionysus has a counterpart in the archetype of Puer Eternus, which means eternal boy. This is not a god, this is an archetype. And the Puer is the man-child, if you will. It's the man-child specifically that longs for reckless abandon, excess, ecstatic joy, etc. Dionysus is not his shadow. Dionysus is his counterpart. Dionysus is the living embodiment of everything that the Puer wants, right? He is free. He is the living manifestation of ecstatic joy. Puer's shadow is something called the Senex, which that's like the old man. I'm not going to get into that. So the Black folks in this movie, be them slaves or freemen, can be viewed through the lens of the Puer in the sense that they are trapped. They are longing to be free. They are longing to experience joy and abandon, but they are trapped. So as we see the folks in the juke joint continue to transition into vampires, we immediately see them experiencing joy, right? They're immediately experiencing the ecstasy of not only being a newborn baby vampire, and of being immortal and of being, bloodthirsty, but of Dionysian ecstatic joy and pleasure. It's not until Remmick, aka Dionysus, induces ecstatic joy in them by liberating them and freeing them, by turning them into vampires, that they are able to transcend that Puer and experience absolute, ecstatic, boundless joy. It's not until the white man frees the slave, it is not until Dionysus induces ecstasy, it's not until the vampire turns the mortal All three of these things are operating at the very least just by virtue of Remmick turning them, right? Because we know that Remmick, although he is white, is not a white European. He's an Irishman who comes from a time that predates the European colonization of his peoples. The white man freeing the slave, again, is also operating on a meta level because he's not really a white man. Although, whilst in the juke joint, they are experiencing a level of freedom, it's not actual freedom. Case in point, Mary being there is a danger to every black person in there should a white person find out that she's in there. We see those of them that turned into vampires dancing in ecstasy to the Irishman singing the song of his people, literally, that they are truly free. Where the twins are concerned, Stack would definitely fall into the category of the pueri turnus, because although he's not careless, he's definitely not cautious. You know, he moves with swagger. He has, you know, the man-child vibe, right? So yet another layer is that even though they are twins, if you layer onto each of them the respective archetype of Senex and Puer, which Senex is the shadow to the Puer, because if you were just thinking about the shadow in like pop psychology terms, like you might read Stack as Smoke's shadow, because Stack kind of embodies like the bad boy, the darkness, the, you know, the taboo, the, you know, the more free, the more naughty, the more dangerous. But in the context of Jungian archetypal psychology, Smoke would be read as Stack's shadow. I hope this made some sense and was at least somewhat entertaining to listen to. I could go on, but I digress. I will leave you alone now. And for those that were asking for the syllabus and book recommendations, they're coming tonight. I will make sure it's pinned.